Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dedicated to the Craft. I'm Jeff Lozano, your host, and today my co-host joining me is Lauren, the vice president of our quality department over at Ballast Point. What up? How are you?
I'm doing very well, staying indoors, but staying sane and healthy. How are you, Jeff?
I'm also doing very well. I'm covering my face when I leave this house, and I am counting to 20 every time I wash my hands, which is a lot longer than you think.
It's boring, but just add different songs. It makes it better.
You got to do it, but you're used to it. Your world is about maintaining cleanliness and washing your hands. So
Counting
it's just another
things.
day.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being on this one. I'm excited to talk to a Mr. Colin Field from Juneshine. We're going to be bringing him on to talk shop.
How's it going?
Hey,
It's
Colin.
going very well, my friend.
Good, good.
Hey, I miss you.
I miss you too. I miss both you guys.
Aw.
You haven't been around.
What's that?
You haven't come around, sir. You've been busy.
Yeah, dude. Juneshine is we're cranking. We're firing on all cylinders right now. Really putting that old facility to use.
Oh my gosh, dude. We know very much about that old facility. For anybody that doesn't know where that's Juneshine's headquarters, right? Where Ballast Point used to be, where we all used to work together. How does it feel being back home?
It feels great, man. I mean, it's like riding a bicycle, getting back to into that facility. Same tanks, know all the quirks about all of them. All the quirks about all the software on the PLCs and everything. So yeah, it's great. I love it.
That's kind of nice, right? Like being able to start kind of a new jig, but it's on the same. It's kind of like with the same tools. You just kind of have to finagle them a different way.
Oh yeah. I walked in on the first day and showed them the skid and looked like a badass because it was just like, oh yeah, you just press boom, 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 and ready to go.
Dude, that's awesome, brother. And we all know that once you learn Scripps Ranch, you can plug and play it anywhere in the world. It was just
pretty
like
much
trial by error over there in that building.
Exactly, and everything is held together by zip ties.
Hey, well, listen, brother. We've been longtime friends for a while, and I've been with you somewhat on your journey from beer to booch, if you will. And you're doing it all, brother. So why don't you tell everybody listening what it is that got you into the industry in the first place, and how you went from beer to making hard kombucha?
Well, when I was in college, I was a chemistry major, and I found that just being on the bench was incredibly boring. So I wanted to do something that had a little bit more creativity to it. I was really into craft beer, and I kind of saw that as something that was taking off. And so once I graduated from college, I moved down to San Diego and got a job at Ballast Point, washing kegs from 5 p.m. till 2 a.m. Monday through Friday. And that was kind of my foot in the door. Worked at Ballast Point for about 3 years. And then that was around the time that AleSmith was moving into their new facility. And I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to kind of get in at the ground floor of this company and grow. So went over there. I was brewing for them for about 2 years, and then I got promoted to their small batch brewer position.
Nice.
Worked that for about 1.5 years, and then I lived in North Park, and I saw this company Juneshine that was growing like crazy, and I was like, wow, they're really on something. So I went ahead and jumped ship and went over there, and I started there about a little under 1.5 years ago, where we were producing about 3,000 barrels a year. Since then, I was a brewer there. I got moved over we had a production facility at Vista for about 6 months. We were contracting with Latitude 33. So basically we had one unit in facility right next to Latitude 33 where we would brew tea in the Latitude 33 brewery and then knock out into our own cellar. And then after that, we shut down that facility when we got Scripps Ranch, and I became their R&D manager. And here I am today.
Very cool, dude. Very cool, my friend. You are making some good stuff over there at Juneshine. I'm actually sipping on a little bit of the good stuff right now. This is pretty much incredible. I'm sipping on the Midnight Painkiller.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Look at that. This is a look, you guys have a lot going on right now.
You want to give that a shake on the next one?
Shit. Yeah. I forgot. I did that with the first one. It didn't work out too well, but I'll make sure to do it for the next one.
Try to explain that to beer people.
Yeah. So Midnight Painkiller is it's a take on a painkiller cocktail. So coconut, orange juice, pineapple juice, nutmeg. And then we wanted to do something with activated charcoal. So this is got some activated charcoal in it, which makes it black when you shake it up. Absolute nightmare to process this stuff. The charcoal just always sinks to the bottom, so you're constantly agitating it during packaging.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I messed up. I should have shaken it a lot more, but I thought it was gonna just geyser in my house. I can't have that, sir.
Absolutely not. So there's a lot less proteins in booch, so you can get away with shaking it quite a bit more, and you don't get a bunch of foam.
Oh, really? Okay, I've always been so scared to even move it. I'm very slow to crack open the can and everything like that. I thought it was eruption like the kombucha that you find at the store sometimes, like the GTs and stuff.
Yeah, that's happened to me so many times.
It's horrible.
How do you control for that, or where does that come from?
So, I mean, that comes from re-fermentation. So there is, always a little bit of sugar left in the product. I mean, with our Midnight Painkiller, Blood Orange Mint, all of our core products, they do have a little bit of sugar in them. And if it's left out, it will re-ferment. It was a huge problem for us when we first started. We'd have cans exploding and everything, cans exploding, geysers, all that kind of stuff. We got Morgan Tinwick on board as our quality manager, and that's all but gone away. So we found that having, more efficient centrifuges and just reducing the sugar in the can are two really good ways to kind of get or eliminate that problem. At this point, we can safely say that you can leave one of our cans unrefrigerated for up to 3 days without really any sort of like re-fermentation or anything like that.
That's crazy, because that was the big deal, right? In kombucha, the cold refrigeration, it had to be cold, out of the facility into the stores, or else it was going to blow up.
I mean, that still is. It's not going to blow up. Ours isn't going to blow up. It still is better if it is refrigerated, like any, beer, whatever. Cold is always better, but we're taking a lot of steps to kind of mitigate the downsides of leaving it unrefrigerated.
Nice, dude. That's pretty rad. Yeah.
How do you determine shelf life on your products, and like how is it different from beer? How do raw materials factor into that? Because we're so used to hop brewing everything, and basically hops determine shelf life for our beers. So what is it like kombucha?
So we've been doing a lot of sensory. We basically, when the company started, we said 6 months was our shelf life. We've found that as we've kind of improved things, so basically we've been sampling products. We'll can it, and then after 3 months, we'll try it again as a quality team. And then after 6 months, we try it. And we basically are just taking very detailed notes about, how long does this stuff taste good? And we found that we can push shelf life to 7 or 8 months on some of our core products.
Wow.
Just because we've kind of reduced oxidation and, taken measures to kind of improve the shelf life.
That's remarkable. Look, check this out. Look, that's night and day from what I showed you a little while ago.
That's what
Look
it's supposed
at
to
that.
look like.
That looks awesome. I can. That's what I was getting at the tap room when I went to go visit. And I was like, it's a little clear, but yeah, that's awesome. Hey, man,
Yeah.
who would have thought when we were all under the Scripps roof that hard kombucha was going to be a thing? It's been an incredible thing to watch. Some of these alternative, I say alternative with all due respect, just because I'm in the beer world. To me, it's like all these other interesting alcohols that have come out to play. Did you anticipate that hard kombucha was going to be a thing even before you saw Juneshine?
Absolutely not. I mean, even when Juneshine went in, I was like, I mean, it sounds like a cool idea, but I don't know how much of a foothold it's going to get. But, here we are 2 years later and we're producing, like 100 times. I can't do math. We were at 3,000 barrels our first year, and we're projected to produce 40,000 this year.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's insane. You guys have done something remarkable with kombucha. And for anyone listening to this podcast that I'm a general assumption is that they drink beer or that they're interested in beer. What is kombucha? First off, like, what is it?
So kombucha is a wild fermented tea. So you start with a tea and a sugar source. In our case, we use green tea and honey. And then we will do basically a souring fermentation, similar to almost like a kettle sour. And then once we reach a pH that we're satisfied with, we'll go ahead and add sugar and a brewer's yeast, and we'll make an alcoholic fermentation with it. So we end up with something with a pH a little bit lower than a sour beer and about 6% alcohol. But yeah.
And that is interesting. Lauren, did you cringe a little bit when he said wild? When he's like wild fermentation, where you're like, what is going on over there?
I am thinking like, oh my God, like, can you eat yogurt in the brewery? Like, is this
Absolutely. It's encouraged.
Really?
What a crazy
lactobacillus is definitely part of our SCOBY. So there's no worry about that. Everything's infected, incredibly so, in beer terms. I mean, we pretty much ferment all the way, or all the sugar out, so we don't have to worry about we still do have to worry about infection, but it's less of a concern. Like, it's, our stuff's a little bit more robust.
So I did want to ask you, because you just mentioned SCOBY. Maybe if there's some folks listening who aren't familiar with that term, if you could explain what that is. But then also, what do you do with your SCOBY, and what's the weirdest thing you've ever heard people doing with their SCOBYs?
You're asking Colin Field.
Actually, so our SCOBY never forms. So sorry, let me backtrack. A SCOBY is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So that's what does our souring fermentation in kombucha. Our SCOBY, though, is not what people typically think of as a SCOBY. When people think of a SCOBY, they think of like a big biomass that kind of sits on top of the kombucha. We are almost doing a Solera style like inoculation. So we'll take a certain amount of one batch, and we'll just pump that into the next batch in order to sour it. And the bacteria and the yeast in the SCOBY is in kind of a liquid form and just kind of goes into the next batch and multiplies. And then we'll take an amount from that and then pump it into the batch after it.
So you guys aren't using that alien looking SCOBY that's typically, like, if you're making homemade kombucha, they give you the SCOBY and it's like in a jar and it looks like it's from another planet.
Right, exactly. So we don't have anything that looks like that. It's
okay,
it's
good. That thing's freaky.
Huh. So since you're using sorry, Jeff.
No.
Just nerd question. Since you're using a Solera system, do you control for like the change in the amount of bacteria to yeast that you have in solution, or how does that work microbiologically?
Yeah, so typically what we see is that we get drifting in our product. We have to get a fresh pitch much faster than you typically do in craft beer. Because over the course of a few fermentations, you start seeing different acids being kind of a little bit out of whack.
Yeah, you were mentioning pH and the importance of it. I mean, we know in the brewing world what kind of a role a pH level will make or will play in the process. But when you guys are talking about finding pH, what is it that you're really looking for as far as that range, and what good does it do for what you guys are trying to accomplish?
I mean, certain pH ranges we're looking for I mean, just the stability of our product, especially with that sour fermentation. We need to get it quickly below a certain pH in order to not risk infection. Kombucha doesn't have hops in it, so we really are kind of just unprotected against any sort of weird thing getting in there and taking hold if it doesn't get down low enough fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of gotta just like massage it and poke it and prod it and hoping that
Sounds good. What about Hopital Citrus, sir? Are you lying to the people? Are you lying to the people?
It's dry hopped. It's dry hopped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crack that open right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if you're a beer drinker, that's the one to go with. I love that one. I mean, pretty much everyone that works there, that's their favorite core brand.
The Hopital Citrus right now, from Juneshine. Was that just a little homage to your brewing roots, or the beer loving people of Juneshine just wanting to throw a little bit of hop love, or do they just really play nicely together?
Well, I mean, pretty much everyone that works there came from craft beer at one point, and so we love hops, and we just wanted to make something with hops in it, and so we thought, Simcoe hops, it's got Cascade. We threw some grapefruit in there and some pineapple and some orange, and it works together, man. It's great. It's crushable. It reminds you of a little bit of an IPA, but still kind of retains its booch character.
I love it, man.
You, Colin, have done pretty much everything from kegging to brewing in the beer world, and now you're brewing for kombucha. And you just mentioned some of the differences between beer and kombucha, but was there anything that surprised you, or like what other differences did you find between the two?
I mean, making kombucha on a large scale, there's just different difficulties. Like we don't have to work. Oxidation is definitely a factor, but it's much less of a factor than it is in beer. What else? I mean, I'm kind of at different off flavors. That's another one. Like you're looking for different off flavors when you're doing sensory.
The off flavors is interesting, Colin.
Yeah.
The off flavored angle is interesting because I feel like this has somewhat of a very unique taste. It's not supposed to be. It's almost funky, right? I'm having trouble describing it because it just tastes like kombucha to me. And what that means, it's like it has this funkiness to it. It's very much a kombucha thing. So when you're talking off flavors, like in beer, for instance, we know an off flavor, we can pinpoint it like, oh, okay, that's green apple. We didn't want that. Or there's too much sulfur. We didn't want that. What kind of off flavors are you guys looking for?
So THP is a really big one with us right now. That's probably directly a result of oxidation. So I mean, like I said, it is something that we battle. And then another one that we see a lot is sulfur. So our yeast is put into basically like an environment with no nutrients in it, and it's really stressful for them, and very low pH, and so yeah, it's a very non-ideal situation for the yeast. We get sulfur. That's kind of the big one, is sulfur, and then a lot of like burnt rubber phenols. That's another one that can kind of arise from just yeast stress.
Yeah. I don't get any of that with your stuff, sir. It's very well done.
We work very hard to not
I
get
have to admit, Lauren, and I don't know about you, but I was very, I won't say skeptical. It was just, I was very curious to see what was going to become of hard kombucha, because between Juneshine, Booch Craft, there's a few others out there in the market, and I wanted to know if it was here to stay. And I think that Juneshine has kind of answered that question in my world, where you guys are kind of, your company is doing a multitude of different things very well, from the product and the attention to detail, which is you and your team, to the marketing, to the overall vibe. I mean, the company just feels really cool, and it feels like, I don't know, very, very lax and very California and very just chill. Do you read that? And is that a part of your culture, the company's culture?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, happy brewers make good booch. And the more that we can do to keep everyone happy, the better. I think that, as far as the culture in the company, it's definitely the leadership. They're amazing people, and they're always looking out for us. And we have our let my people go surfing policy, which is, basically like, if get your shit done and you can take as much time off as you want. We do Juneshine Mondays. So one Monday a month, we will go do some charity at a food kitchen, or we'll go play slosh ball, or, build fences for people who are affected by fires. It's just whatever. Some of them are fun, some of them kind of giving back to the community. But I think that by creating a culture like that, it kind of permeates, and it's visible to the consumer.
Yeah, that's something that I noticed right away. Lauren, had you been a kombucha fan? Are you a big kombucha fan? Do you drink hard booch or regular booch on a regular?
Definitely. I am part hippie, so I've been drinking kombucha for a while. I've also tried making kombucha with very varied success, which is why I'm so impressed by the consistency of Juneshine. And that is something I wanted to ask you, Colin, for people who are interested in brewing kombucha at home. Do you have like a number one thing to focus on, or any tips for kombucha homebrewers?
Just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Jump in with 2 feet, and when it's throw it in the fridge when it's sour enough. I guess that's my 3 things.
So do you have to test it? Like, are you tasting it throughout the course of its fermentation to realize, like from a homebrewing standpoint, when it's time to start to chill it?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I just taste it every day. Nothing wrong with that. And then when it's ready, just throw it in the fridge. It's it should be a pretty hands-off process.
So it's okay to like disturb the SCOBY and get a little sample. So I'm always like, you're so freaky looking, I'm just gonna let you do your thing. I don't want to disturb you.
Yeah, I mean, if it's for your own home use, yeah, like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, wash your hands. Just dip your finger, and disturb the SCOBY a little bit. That thing's menacing. Hey, Colin, this Hopital Citrus is damn good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of my favorites.
The funny thing about my relationship with Juneshine was that I'm a big proponent on that. Even if I don't like something, but it's affiliated with people that I really love and admire, I give it a shot, and it almost makes it like a pint half full kind of scenario, as opposed to the opposite. When Juneshine came out, and especially because you guys were taking over the Scripps Ranch building that holds a very special, dear place in my heart. I was like, oh, who are these Juneshine guys, and what is this hard kombucha stuff all about? I like kombucha, but don't try to tread on my beer, people. And then I found out that you went to the company, and then I went, okay, I can give these guys a shot. And then Morgan went to the company. I was like, oh dang it, I think I like them just by association now. And then you guys started really putting the booch where your mouth was, and you guys started making what I actually like to drink now. It's I don't even think it's an acquired taste. I liked it once I had Juneshine. Like, I liked it. I really liked what you guys were creating. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
we're just trying to make it as accessible for everyone. Like, trying to make stuff for everyone. We got the Hopital Citrus for beer drinkers. We got Black Cherry Lime. We got, Midnight Painkiller. We tried to keep it as varied as possible. I mean, we just did a collaboration with a company from New York called Matcha Bar, and it was booch with matcha and
I saw that.
ginger and coconut in it. It's bright green and full of antioxidants and probiotics and matcha and caffeine, and it's great, man. And just like I said, trying to make something for everyone.
That sounds delicious. So yeah, I mean, your flavors are so innovative. Your artwork is killer. I know that my local beer store, there's now a whole shelf that's just kombucha and Juneshine. It's right front and center. But can you explain a little bit about the health benefits of Juneshine and kombucha in general?
All right, so we've done a lot of work to keep our product probiotic throughout its shelf life. We've been using or adding in specific bacteria in order to keep it that way almost indefinitely. All of our flavors are high in vitamin C. A lot of them have a ton of antioxidants in them. It really is kind of a healthier option for alcohol. One other thing is they are much lower in sugar than beer.
Okay, right. So that residual, in beer we call them dextrins. It's that residual sweetness, right? Because your stuff is sweet. It's still sweet, but is it a little sweeter than what the sugar content is actually? Is it just a little heightened?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just our product is very transparent, and so that small amount of sweetness really goes a long way. It's actually So compared to beer, I would say it's like half the sugar residual.
Hey man, look, it's a beautiful thing to have an option for the people that are a little bit more health conscious. The big question that I always got, and I had no idea what the hell kombucha was or how it was made, so I don't know why people were asking me. But the now I guess misconception was that the alcohol was like a toxic environment to a lot of these probiotics, and that as soon as you made it boozy, you're kind of getting rid of all the probiotic benefits. But that's just not true.
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like we've done a lot of work trying to dial in what actually survives in that environment, and there isn't a whole lot. So finding the right probiotics was a big project for Morgan.
So you guys are testing this. I mean, every new batch, every style. Like, how often are you guys testing whatever probiotic kind of counts there are in your product?
I mean, we're doing it from time to time, but we're just kind of confirming that yes, the stuff is alive or it isn't alive, and how much of it is alive. It's definitely been a big undertaking for the quality department to, make sure that what we claim on our cans is actually true.
What types of other things are you testing for in the quality department?
I mean, ABV, pH, titrable acidity. Sensory. Cell counts for. We plate for pretty much all of our bacteria in our SCOBY. I'm sure I'm not doing Morgan a service right now.
No, you're doing great, brother. And
that sounds like sour beer.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
we're approaching it kind of from that direction a little bit. Yeah.
It's quite the I guess to kind of really start to dial in kombucha in this day and age, you guys are at the forefront of it, right? You and a handful of other companies are really figuring it out as you go. Because I don't know about the rest of the world, and I might be wrong in this, but hard kombucha, at least in San Diego, is very much, Juneshine is in the top three, I would say. And you guys are trying to figure out a lot of these things that, beer has had a long time to figure out. Wine has had a long time to figure out as far as quality is concerned. You guys are basically innovating that space. Do you feel like that working for Juneshine?
I mean, yeah, I think that, that was kind of the appeal of this whole thing, is that, we're kind of writing the book as we go on how to do this correctly. There's always new challenges. There's always new problems to be solved, and it's fun. It's exciting. It's stressful sometimes, but it's totally worth it.
It's amazing. Hey, one thing that I have heard, and I want to know from you, because I don't think I've ever asked you this, but one thing that I've heard is that you don't necessarily get the same hangover than you do with other alcohols. I've heard that from more than one person that they're not associated to each other. They're like, yeah, hey man, I got drunk off this stuff and I woke up ready to run a mile.
That's not true. I have been
I didn't think so.
wildly hungover off of Juneshine.
Okay, well, you probably drink it by the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was interested in that because you guys do pay so much attention to the health benefits of the product that, at some point, even though you are taking in just booze and it's gonna mess you up the next morning, I don't know how many of those residual beneficial things that are in it kind of come in to save the day or save the morning.
I mean, it does help. There's not a whole lot of sugar in there. And that you got your vitamins and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, alcohol's alcohol, man. You're gonna get hungover off of it.
Yeah, no one's prescribing this. No one's prescribing this.
Exactly. It's not healthy alcohol. It's healthier for you alcohol.
Right, and it gives you something to think about too.
Yeah.
So speaking of alcohol, have you thought about doing non-alcoholic kombucha?
So that has been a question that was been asked a few times, and probably not, because we're regulated by the TTB. If we started doing non-alcoholic kombucha, we would be regulated by the FDA, and that would just kind of bring a whole new world of pain as far as dealing with people inspecting stuff. I mean, we're on the up and up, but it's just like, nah, we don't, we're doing fine in the alcohol sector. We don't really need to add the non-alcoholic sector.
The fact that you guys have been able to scratch that itch, I guess, in the community, along with other kind of health promoting alcohols, is pretty cool. I like the fact that you guys that this is an option, and that even if it's slightly healthier, it is slightly healthier nonetheless. And you feel a little psychological tweak when you're drinking something that is organic, probiotic, gluten-free, all these things that are on your label, because people want to know that you guys are checking off all these boxes on the health list. But another thing that I noticed, and I'm just looking at all your cans, is that they're all 6%.
Yeah,
they're all 6%.
Yes, that's correct. So
is that by design, or is it just kind of settles out there?
We actually start with the same base for all of our products. So we basically make one like hard kombucha, and then we'll flavor it to be blood orange mint or midnight painkiller or acai berry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's really nice for production. I mean, we can brew something and then we don't know what it's going to be until 2 weeks before, like a week before it's packaged.
That's interesting. And you're the R&D manager, so I have to ask, what are you researching and what are you designing? Like, what you can tell us. What are you working on, and what does innovation in kombucha world look like?
I mean, a big part of my job is kind of coming out with the new flavors. So we're trying out a ginger juice, and it's absolutely improves the honey ginger lemon.
Oh, I have that one right here.
Yeah.
The honey ginger lemon. Boom. I haven't cracked it open yet because they're all in 16-ounce cans, and I'm gonna. Now that you told me that I am going to have a hangover tomorrow, I'm going to kind of just taper it down. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I've been really excited about because not only are you adding that organic probiotic gluten-free element to it, you're also adding, benefits of honey, ginger, and lemon, which, I mean, I take a ginger shot, like a juice, ginger and lemon and stuff every morning. Makes me feel like $100. I think I'm just going to start doing this in the morning. And I also have the Acai Berry. Can you speak on the Acai Berry a little bit? Am I saying that right? Acai,
yeah. So okay, I love that one. It's got acai in it, which has got a ton of health benefits. Super, super, super high in antioxidants. And then we use blueberry juice. Honestly, one of my favorite flavors. Super crushable. If you are a wine drinker, that's kind of the one that I'd point you to. It tastes a little bit like red wine, a little bit. Yeah. So, good stuff.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I have before we're gonna start wrapping up in a little bit, but one question to me that I have is Geun kombucha. Now that's a particular kind of kombucha, is it not?
Yeah. So traditional kombucha is black tea and sugar. We use green tea and honey for our kombucha.
So that makes it Geun. That makes it Geun.
Yeah.
Hence the name. Hence the company name.
Exactly. So it started out with guys brewing in their garage, and they some guy walked by. He's like, "Oh, you guys making moonshine?" And it was Geun kombucha. So like, yeah.
I thought that it was something having to do with, and it might be, but I thought it was something to do with June gloom. I thought it was like June gloom. Screw it. We're gonna take the gloom out of there. We're gonna put some shine. I thought that's where my dumb head went. But that's cool.
That makes sense. Yeah, but that's the story.
That's rad. That is very cool. I know that Lauren's losing her mind about your practices over there of inoculation and stuff like that, but it's very tasty, my friend. Yeah. We've typically on the show we've been bringing on some sort of food element with our sous chef Chewy. He writes a recipe and people are able to cook at home and pair it with one of our beers. We don't have it this time, but I did want to ask you, have you considered your product in the food pairing realm, and do you have any recommendations, tips, and how do you go about pairing kombucha with food?
I mean, it's the same thing as any other drink. Is you want to take elements of the drink and pair it with the food. So something like sushi. Honey ginger lemon would go really well with that because you got that nice acid to kind of cut through the fattiness of some of that fish. It's just nice. It's crisp. It's clean. Hopital Citrus, you'd pretty much treat like an IPA. Goes with your burgers. You got the hop oils to kind of cut through the fat and the acid. And I mean, really, like it's pretty versatile just because it's it's high in acid. It's very flavorful.
Carbonated too.
Yeah, carbonated.
It's super carbonated, which acts as those those scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But it's good, man. I mean, it goes well with salads, soups, burgers, steak, pizza, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I need to go shopping, but I know what I'm having for dinner tomorrow, and it involves Juneshine.
Oh, what? Okay, what do you have in your mind? What's cooking up in your mind right now? What are you making tomorrow, Lauren?
I'm gonna take the sushi suggestion.
Do you make sushi, or where's a good spot, or do you order it? Okay, cool. Because I was like, I tried it once, it was a disaster.
It's really hard.
I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm
Try it.
going to order some sushi and pair it. Hey, listen, Colin, you guys are doing some really interesting stuff over there. You guys are cool. Your company, it really does feel like you guys are having the most fun. Like I look at you guys and go, oh, these guys are having a good time. And it really makes me happy to know that I have a bunch of friends that went over to make hard kombucha and that they're having a good time. They're putting the same amount of attention and detail to the product that they were doing when they were making beer. And I've really turned on to this stuff, dude. I really like it. It's something that I didn't used to even think about purchasing, and now if it's on the shelf, I'll grab a 4-pack or something like that. So you guys are doing something really special over there.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're definitely trying.
Well, in this time that is very unusual, and we're all, even though Juneshine looks like it's on an upswing, I mean, it's rough out there for anybody making anything. So why don't you let everybody listening know where they can get Juneshine, how they can follow Juneshine, how they can learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing over there?
You can get Juneshine at one of our 2 tasting rooms, either in Scripps Ranch or North Park. I'm pretty sure all Whole Foods carry Juneshine now in California. We're available Bevmo, and most local liquor stores. You can follow us online at, hold on, I need to check. Is it Juneshine Co? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Juneshine Co.
You guys have an awesome page, by the way. Like I follow you
Yeah.
guys on Instagram. It's so beautiful.
It's Juneshine Co on Instagram, or we're also on Facebook. Yeah, so check us out.
Dude, you're the man. You rock. Your beard is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your new house. Look, isn't his beard on another level though, Lauren?
It was very nicely framed. We get a good view. Nice.
It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I hate to see it go, but we're gonna have to wrap this up, my friend. Once again, thank you, dude. I always like talking to you, man. I love you to
Lovely
death.
talking to you guys.
All right, guys. So that wraps up our episode. A big thank you to Lauren. A big thank you to Colin Field over at Juneshine. That was really interesting, and I learned a lot about kombucha that I didn't know before. So go check them out. Get some kombucha to go and support a local establishment. Till next time, follow us, like us, all that jazz. Dedicated to the Craft Podcast, brought to you by Ballast Point. Good night.